Significant weather contrasts across Australia tomorrow. Heavy rain and thunderstorms for the east coast. Scorching heat building in South Australia. Near perfect conditions in the west. That is what we're re-looking at for Sunday, the 18th of January 2026. I've examined the latest data from the Bureau of Meteorology, checked the synoptic charts, and looked at what the Access model is showing. The atmospheric setup for tomorrow is quite distinctive. We've got a low pressure system sitting off the New South Wales coast, pulling tropical moisture down from the Coral Sea. Meanwhile, a high pressure ridge is dominating the southern and western parts of the continent. This creates a sharp divide. If you draw a line roughly from Brisbane down through inland New South Wales, everything east of that line is under the influence of the low. Everything west is under the high. Two completely different weather regimes operating across the country at the same time. Let me start with the pressure systems and what is driving all this. Then we'll break it down region by region with specific impacts and timing. The low pressure system currently sits about 200 kilometres east of Sydney. Central pressure is around 995 hectopascals. Not particularly deep, but it is slow moving and well organised. The isobars are tight on its western flank, which means strong onshore winds for the coast. What makes this system significant is the moisture it's tapping into. Sea surface temperatures in the Tasman Sea are sitting at 24 to 25 degrees Celsius. That S warm water. When you get strong onshore winds pulling that moisture onto the coast, combined with daytime heating and atmospheric instability, you get thunderstorm development. That's exactly what we're seeing on the models for tomorrow. The Access model shows scattered to widespread thunderstorms developing across coastal New South Wales from early morning, intensifying through the afternoon. The GFS and European models are in agreement. All three models show rainfall totals for Sunday between 30 and 60 millimetres for Sydney and the Central Coast, with isolated areas potentially seeing 80 to 100 millimetres if thunderstorms train over the same location. Now compare that to what is happening in the west. A high pressure system centred over the Great Australian Bight is providing stable conditions across South Australia, Victoria and Western Australia. Central pressure is 1,022 hectopascals. Strong ridge, clear skies, light winds, classic summer high pressure pattern. But here S, where it gets interesting for Adelaide, the high is positioned in such a way that it's drawing hot, dry air down from Central Australia. North to northwesterly winds, that S, your recipe for a scorcher. The air mass over inland South Australia has been heating up all week. Tomorrow, that heat gets pushed right into Adelaide. Right now, across the eastern states, you're already seeing the moisture increase. Dew points in Brisbane are sitting around 22 degrees. That's humid, uncomfortable. Sydney S dew point is at 19 degrees. That moisture is being fed by onshore winds that have been in place since Thursday. Compare that to Adelaide, where the dew point is sitting at just 8 degrees. Bone dry. Perth is at 11 degrees, dry but not extreme. That contrast in moisture content is as significant as the temperature differences we'll see tomorrow. For those in Sydney and right along the New South Wales coast from Newcastle down to the Illawarra, tomorrow starts wet and stays wet. The rain begins before dawn. Light to moderate falls initially, then thunderstorms develop by mid-morning. Peak activity for the storms is between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. That S, when atmospheric instability is highest. The storms want to be isolated. We re-looking at bands of thunderstorms moving onshore one after another. Some could be severe. The main threats are heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding, damaging wind gusts and frequent lightning. Rainfall totals by the end of Sunday. Sydney Metro can expect 40 to 60 millimetres. Some areas, particularly in the west and southwest, could see 80 to 100 millimetres if storms are persistent. That is enough to cause localised flooding, especially in low-lying areas and poor drainage zones. Temperature-wise, you are looking at a maximum of just 20 to 22 degrees. That's well below average for mid-January. Normally, you'd be seeing highs around 27 to 28 degrees. The thick cloud cover and persistent rain keeps temperatures suppressed all day. Wind is a factor. East to southeasterly winds at 20 to 30 kilometres per hour, with gusts in thunderstorms reaching 60 to 80 kilometres per hour. Coastal areas will see higher sustained winds. If you're on the water, it's not a good day for it. Seas are building to 2 to 3 metres, possibly higher close to the coast. For driving conditions, expect reduced visibility and heavy rain. Roads will be slippery. Give yourself extra time. Avoid driving through water. If it's flooded, forget it. That is the SES advice, and it is worth following. If you had outdoor plans, you'll need to reschedule or move them indoors. Sporting events, barbecues, beach trips, all of that is off the table. It's a day for staying inside or finding indoor activities. Newcastle and the Hunter Valley COP, similar conditions. Maybe slightly less rain than Sydney, around 30 to 50 millimetres, but still widespread and persistent. The Illawarra from Wollongong south to Nowra is in the firing line as well. Same pattern, heavy rain, thunderstorms, flash flooding risk. Canberra and the southern tablelands are on the edge of this system. You'll see showers and possible thunderstorms, but not as intense as the coast. 20 to 30 millimetres expected. Temperatures around 23 to 24 degrees. Overcast and drizzly rather than torrential. Moving north to Brisbane and southeast Queensland, you are in a transition zone. The low-pressure system extends its influence up into southern Queensland, but it is not as organised as what is happening further south. Brisbane sees scattered showers and thunderstorms through the day. Not continuous rain like Sydney. You might get a heavy downpour, then it clears for an hour or two, then another round comes through. Typical summer storm pattern for Brisbane, just more active than usual. Rainfall totals around 20 to 40 millimetres for the Brisbane Metro. The Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast, similar amounts. Storms could be heavy when they hit, but the total accumulation is less than what Sydney is copping. Temperature-wise, Brisbane is warmer, 22 to 30 degrees, still humid though. Dew point stays in the low 20s all day. That sticky, heavy feeling before storms hit, then brief relief when the rain comes through, then it builds up again. The surf is up along the southern Queensland coast, 2 to 3 metre swell. Strong rip currents. If you're re-heading to the beach, swim between the flags and pay attention to the surf lifesavers. Conditions are marginal at best. For far north Queensland, from Townsville up to Cairns, you are largely clear of this system. Typical summer conditions. Partly cloudy, isolated afternoon showers. Temperatures in the low to mid-30s. The monsoon trough is still well to the north, so you are not seeing any tropical activity yet. Now let's shift to Victoria. Melbourne and most of Victoria are under the influence of that high pressure system. Conditions are vastly different from the east coast. Melbourne wakes up to a cool morning. Overnight minimum around 15 to 16 degrees, bit of a chill in the air, clear skies, light winds. By mid-morning, the temperature starts climbing, sunny conditions through the day with just some fair weather cumulus clouds developing in the afternoon. Maximum temperature for Melbourne reaches 27 to 28 degrees. That is pleasant, not too hot, not cool. Perfect summer day, light northerly winds at 10 to 15 kilometres per hour. It's an ideal day for outdoor activities. Head to the beach, go for a run, have that barbecue you've been planning. The weather is on your side. Just remember sunscreen. UV index is extreme, which is standard for January. Between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m, you want to be sun smart. Geelong and the Bellarine Peninsula see similar conditions. Coastal areas might be a degree or two cooler thanks to the sea breeze that develops in the afternoon. The Mornington Peninsula, same story. Great beach weather. Regional Victoria is mostly fine as well. Some cloud over the ranges and Gippsland, but generally dry. Temperatures in the mid to high 20s across most of the state. South Australia is where we see the heat really building. Adelaide is in for a genuinely hot day. This isn't just warm, it is a proper scorcher. The northwesterly airflow I mentioned earlier brings that hot, dry air straight into Adelaide. Temperature forecasts are sitting at 35 to 37 degrees. Some suburbs, particularly in the western and northern parts of the metro area, could touch 38 or 39 degrees. This is the hottest day Adelaide has seen in a couple of weeks. For context, average January maximums in Adelaide are around 29 degrees. We're re-looking at 6 to 8 degrees above average. The heat is dry, low humidity, dew points around 8 to 10 degrees. When you combine that with temperatures in the mid to high 30s, fire danger becomes a significant concern. The fire danger rating for the Adelaide Hills, Mount Lofty ranges and the mid-north is extreme. That's the second highest rating. With temperatures this high, low humidity and northwesterly winds gusting to 30 to 40 kilometres per hour, any fire that starts will spread rapidly. Total fire ban is in place for several districts. That means no fires whatsoever. No barbecues using solid fuel, no campfires, no burning off. Gas or electric barbecues are permitted only if you can turn them off immediately if needed. If you live in bushfire-prone areas around Adelaide, be aware of your surroundings. Have your bushfire plan ready. Know your trigger points. If conditions deteriorate, leaving early is always the safest option. For those in Adelaide Metro, the main issue is the heat. Stay indoors during the hottest part of the day between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Air conditioning if you've got it. Drink plenty of water. Check on elderly neighbours and mates. Heat like this can be dangerous, particularly for vulnerable people. Pets and livestock need water and shade. Make sure animals are looked after. Dogs left in cars can die within minutes in this heat. Don't risk it. The heat extends inland as well. The Riverland, Murray Lands, York Peninsula, all seeing temperatures in the high 30s. Some inland areas could hit 40 degrees. The good news is this heat doesn't last. A cool change is forecast to move through on Monday, dropping temperatures back to the mid-20s. But for Sunday, you are dealing with significant heat. Western Australia is probably the pick of the country tomorrow. Perth and most of the southwest are looking at near perfect conditions. Perth wakes up to a cool 16 to 17 degrees, clear skies, light easterly winds. As the sun gets higher, temperature climbs steadily. By early afternoon, Perth reaches a maximum of 24 to 26 degrees. Light sea breeze develops in the afternoon, keeping coastal suburbs comfortable. Inland areas like the hills might reach 27 or 28 degrees, but it's still very pleasant. It's a ripper of a day. Beach weather, the surf is clean, around 1 to 1.5 metres, good for swimming, surfing, just getting in the water. Cottesloe, Scarborough, Trigg, all looking good. If you are heading to Rottnest Island, conditions are excellent. Calm seas, sunny skies, perfect for cycling around the island or just relaxing on the beach. The quokkas will be out and about. Fremantle is ideal for a wander through the markets, grab some fish and chips, sit by the water. You want to find better weather than this. The southwest, from Margaret River down to Albany, sees similar conditions. Sunny, warm but not hot, light winds. If you're replanning a drive down south, it's a great day for it. Further north, Geraldton and the Midwest are a bit warmer, around 28 to 30 degrees, but still dry and pleasant. The Pilbara and Kimberley are hot, as expected for this time of year. Mid to high 30s, isolated storms possible inland. Tasmania is under partly cloudy skies tomorrow. Hobart sees a mix of sun and cloud, temperatures around 20 to 22 degrees. A few light showers are possible in the west and northwest, but most of the state stays dry. It's not spectacular weather, but it's not bad either. Reasonable day for getting outside. Just maybe have a light jacket handy if you are out early or late in the day. The Northern Territory is split between the wet season in the top end and dry conditions further south. Darwin is hot and humid, around 33 to 35 degrees with isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon. That is typical build-up season weather. Uncomfortable if you are not used to it, but normal for Darwin in January. Alice Springs and Central Australia are dry and hot. Mid to high 30s, clear skies, low humidity, no rain in sight. Let me talk about what happens beyond Sunday because this pattern doesn't stay static. The low-pressure system off the New South Wales coast starts to weaken and drift further east on Monday. That means the rain eases across Sydney and the coast. By Monday afternoon, you are looking at scattered showers rather than persistent rain. Tuesday should be drier with some sunshine returning. Temperatures in Sydney rebound to the mid-20s by Tuesday, closer to average. Brisbane and southeast Queensland see improving conditions on Monday as well. Still a few showers around, but less frequent. By Tuesday, partly cloudy with isolated storms. More typical summer pattern. Melbourne warms up through the early part of the week. Monday sees temperatures around 30 degrees. Tuesday and Wednesday potentially reaching 32 to 34 degrees. A heatwave is building for southern Victoria by midweek. Worth keeping an eye on. Adelaide cool change arrives Monday morning. Temperatures drop back to 25 to 26 degrees. Much more comfortable. The fire danger eases significantly with the change. Perth continues its run of excellent weather. Sunny and mid-20s right through the week. Not much changes for Western Australia. Now, let's talk about UV levels and sun safety because this is important regardless of where you are. The UV index across most of Australia tomorrow is extreme. That is a rating of 11 or higher. Even in Sydney with all the cloud cover, UV can still penetrate and cause sunburn, especially if you are outside during breaks in the storms. For Adelaide and Perth, with clear skies and strong summer sun, UV is off the charts. You can get sunburnt in 15 to 20 minutes without protection. The standard advice applies. Slip on a shirt, slop on sunscreen, slap on a hat, seek shade, slide on sunglasses. Sunscreen should be SPF 30 or 50 plus, applied 20 minutes before you go outside and reapplied every 2 hours. Between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m, UV is at its peak. If you can stay indoors during that window, do it. If you need to be outside, make sure you're re-protected. This is particularly important for Adelaide with the extreme heat. Combination of high UV and high temperatures means you can get both sunburnt and heat affected quickly. For those with outdoor work, tradies, farmers, landscapers, take regular breaks. Hydrate constantly. Don T, push through if you're refilling off. Heat stress and heat stroke are serious. Let me address marine conditions because I know many of you are boaties or like to fish. New South Wales coast sees rough conditions tomorrow. Seas 2 to 3 metres, possibly higher in the afternoon. East to southeasterly winds at 20 to 30 kilometres per hour, stronger in squalls. Small craft should stay in port. Larger vessels need to be cautious. Visibility reduces in heavy rain. Queensland coast is marginal. 2 to 2.5 metre seas on the southern Gold Coast, easing to 1.5 to 2 metres further north. Fishable if you know what you're redoing, but not ideal. Keep an eye on the radar for approaching storms. Victoria and South Australia have much calmer conditions. Port Phillip Bay is flat to 1 metre. Spencer Gulf, similar. Good conditions for recreational boating. Just watch the heat in South Australia. Western Australian coast is excellent. 1 to 1.5 metres, light winds, good visibility, great day on the water. Bass Strait between Victoria and Tasmania is moderate, 1.5 to 2 metres. Not rough but not flat either. Ferry services should run normally. For aviation, Sydney Airport will likely see delays tomorrow due to thunderstorms. Low cloud, reduced visibility, wind shear in storm cells. If you're reflying in or out of Sydney, check your flight status before heading to the airport. Expect delays of 30 minutes to 2 hours, possibly longer if storms are persistent. Brisbane Airport could see minor delays from storms, but not as significant as Sydney. Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth airports should operate normally. Clear conditions, good visibility. Road conditions vary significantly by region. New South Wales expect wet roads all day, reduced visibility and heavy rain, spray from other vehicles, longer stopping distances, drive to the conditions, slow down, keep your headlights on, watch for localised flooding in known trouble spots. Underpasses, low-lying roads, creek crossings. If water is over the road, Don T, attempt to cross. Turn around, find another route. Adelaide, the main road hazard is the heat. Bitumen can become soft in extreme heat. Tyre blowouts are more common. Make sure your tyres are properly inflated and in good condition. Carry extra water in the car. If you break down in this heat, you want to have water available. Sun glare is a factor in the late afternoon, particularly if you are driving west. Sunglasses help, but be prepared for temporary vision reduction when the sun hits the windscreen at certain angles. For those travelling between states, if you are driving from Melbourne to Adelaide, you'll notice the temperature jump as you cross into South Australia. Melbourne might be 28 degrees, Adelaide could be 37 degrees. That's a significant change over a relatively short distance. Perth and regional Western Australia have good driving conditions, clear, dry roads. Just watch your speed and stay alert. Now, a word about gardening and outdoor work, because the weather impacts what you can and can't do outside tomorrow. Sydney and coastal New South Wales, your gardens are getting a solid watering. No need to water plants today or tomorrow. In fact, if you've got potted plants on balconies or patios, check they're not going to flood. Heavy rain can waterlog pots, which isn't great for plants. Adelaide, you want to water your garden tonight, Saturday night, get everything well soaked. Tomorrow's heat will stress plants, especially if they re-dry going into it. Vegetables, fruit trees, anything that is actively growing needs deep watering tonight. Mulching helps retain moisture. If you've got exposed soil, a layer of mulch reduces evaporation and keeps roots cooler. Don T, plant anything tomorrow in Adelaide. Wait until after the cool change on Monday. Planting in 37-degree heat is asking for trouble. New plants want to establish well. Melbourne and Perth have good conditions for gardening. Not too hot, not raining. If you've got outdoor projects, tomorrow's a good day to tackle them. For lawn mowing, Sydney is obviously out due to rain. Adelaide, mow early in the morning if you must, but it is going to be unpleasant once the temperature climbs. Melbourne and Perth are fine for mowing. Livestock management in rural areas, particularly South Australia and inland New South Wales. Make sure animals have access to shade and plenty of water. Tanks and troughs should be full. In extreme heat, stock can drink significantly more than usual. If you're removing stock, do it early morning or late evening. Don T, shift animals in the middle of the day when it is 37 degrees. That is asking for heat stress. Sheep should be shorn going into heat like this if they haven't been already. Wool is an insulator, which is great in winter, not helpful in extreme summer heat. Check fences and gates. In fire weather like Adelaide is facing, you want to make sure stock can be moved quickly if needed. For those planning sport or outdoor exercise tomorrow, timing matters. Sydney outdoor sport is pretty much washed out. If you've got weekend cricket, touch footy, soccer, it's likely to be called off or played in terrible conditions. Indoor sports are the way to go. Melbourne and Perth have ideal conditions for outdoor sport. Just remember sun protection and hydration. Start early if possible to avoid peak UV. Adelaide, do not exercise outside in the middle of the day. If you're rerunning, cycling, playing sport, do it before 9 a.m. or after 6 p.m. Exercising in 37-degree heat is dangerous. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are real risks. Gyms with air conditioning are your friend tomorrow if you're away in Adelaide. Pools are good too, just watch the sun exposure. For swimming, ocean conditions vary. Sydney beaches are rough and conditions are poor. Rips will be strong. Even experienced swimmers should be cautious. Swim between the flags, follow lifeguard instructions. Queensland beaches are marginal. Big swell, strong currents. Not a day for inexperienced swimmers. Melbourne beaches are good. Reasonable surf, good weather. Standard summer beach safety applies. Perth beaches are excellent. Clean surf, good visibility, warm water, perfect beach day. Adelaide beaches, the water will be refreshing in the heat, but remember UV is extreme. You can get sunburnt even in the water. Waterproof sunscreen and reapply regularly. Let me wrap up with a summary of what you need to know for tomorrow, Sunday the 18th of January. For Sydney and the New South Wales coast, heavy rain and thunderstorms all day. 40 to 60 millimetres, isolated areas up to 100 millimetres. Temperature only 20 to 22 degrees. Flash flooding possible. Not a day for outdoor activities. Stay inside. Drive carefully if you must go out. Brisbane and southeast Queensland, scattered showers and storms, 20 to 40 millimetres. Temperature 22 to 30 degrees. Humid and sticky. Beach conditions are rough. Have indoor backup plans. Melbourne, near perfect conditions. Sunny, 27 to 28 degrees. Light winds, great day for getting outside. Just remember sun protection. Adelaide, scorching hot, 35 to 37 degrees, possibly higher in western suburbs. Extreme fire danger, total fire ban in several districts. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Avoid the heat between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Cool change arrives Monday. Perth, excellent weather, 24 to 26 degrees, sunny, light winds. Ideal beach and outdoor weather. Make the most of it. Tasmania, partly cloudy, 20 to 22 degrees. Possible light showers in the west. Reasonable day overall. Northern Territory, Darwin, hot and humid with isolated storms. Alice Springs, hot and dry. That is the breakdown. Check the Bureau of Meteorology website for updates, particularly if you are in areas affected by severe weather or extreme fire danger. Conditions can change and you want the latest information. Look after yourselves and your mates. If you see someone struggling with the heat in Adelaide, check on them. If you're on the roads in Sydney, take your time and drive safely. Weather like this tests us, but we've dealt with it before and we'll deal with it again. Thanks.